UI design, 3D environments, and some programming. So David did a great job of going, great stream talking about programming the Nemesis, and so I'm going to show you a little bit about the graphics, getting the graphics in the game for their artwork. So if you haven't seen it, I will show you how it is looking right now. So like right now, we got Rageborn in here, and then you know, deal damage to him, and it explodes on him, and you know, various things. So, so David was talking just now about Carapace Queen, and so I will show you what her artwork. So right now, the way that the UI is set up for the Nemesis art is we got the portal image, and then we have the Nemesis image on top of it, and then on top of that, there's these highlight images. So initially, like, so the portal is like a square image, and initially I had Rageborn as a square image as well, but you know, I was looking at the other Nemesis characters, and they were a lot wider, and especially the Carapace Queen, I thought would work better if I made it wider. So this is what I have so far for her, or him, or it, I don't know, the Carapace Queen, this giant spider. And I'm going to show you how I got from the Carapace Queen's artwork to there, and I'll make the cutouts for the other two core game Nemesis. So I have this PSD file, and so I put the portal right in the middle, and then I lined up Rageborn right on top of it, and the Carapace Queen right on top of it. And I don't know if you haven't seen the Carapace Queen's artwork, I will show you. You know, there's a lot going on in here. There's a background, and then there's all these little spiders at the bottom. So, mantis, yes. I don't know, I think of them as spiders, but yeah, they're not really spiders. So, you know, so I take out the background, and then crop it and fade out the middle so it looks like the creature is coming out of the portal. So what I'm going to do now is the same thing for Crooked Mask and the Prince of Gluttons. So we go into Crooked Mask's, you know, card art, and so if we take out the background and the layers, we have, you know, the character here, and I will just copy him over into the other file. And we'll stick him there. I'll make a folder for Crooked Mask. So we'll start by shrinking him down, and I'm thinking for this character, he'll kind of be leaning out of the portal slightly to the left instead of slightly to the right, like, well, maybe, yeah, because Rageborn's kind of coming out, and he's facing to the right, and Carapace Queen is slightly to the right, but mostly in the middle. But Crooked Mask is kind of leaning the other way. So we can see how this will work. We want to make sure we capture his hand at the top there. I think, oops. I think his cape's probably going to get cut off a little. So I'll duplicate that so I don't, in case I mess it up. So I'll start by, let's see what, no, that's it. 23%, we'll bump that up. So we want to fade out the edges for this character. And looking at it, it's going to look a little funny, but maybe I need to redo this a second or third time. But we'll start out like this, and if it doesn't work, try a different approach. So bumped it down so it kind of fades out. I kind of want to leave his mask hanging down there. Oops. Just bump down the opacity a bit. So he's, materializing out of the portal is how we want it to look. I think that's worth trying. You can see how it looks in Unity. It looks like I left behind some effects there. Alright. So let's go ahead and export this into Unity and see how it looks. Go through the hierarchy of folders of things. Images. So this is Crooked Mask. Alright, so the main image, we're going to drop it. Drop in Crooked Mask and see, so it could be used that way. I think I can do a little better with it. Maybe more zoomed in. It seems a little bit smaller compared to the other nemesis. Because by comparison we have Rageborn and Carapace Queen, and their heads are a little bit bigger than Crooked Mask is right now. So, so I thought try it that way. Not sure it's working, so we'll try a different approach. So we'll leave it there in case decide we need it. But so I'm thinking now it should be a lot more zoomed in. The tricky part here is because we want to make sure we include his giant claws popping out, because I think that looks kind of cool. So maybe he's only visible from the waist up coming out of the portal. We can try doing it that way. So we'll start by, I don't know about this other arm, if it should be there or not, but definitely not going to include this part. Maybe I'll just completely cut this. I'm also going to mention now, if in case you're just joining now, or if you missed some of our other developer streams, they all are available afterwards on Twitch, and then probably in a few days they'll be up on YouTube. But all of the previous developer streams are already available if anyone is interested in watching them. So I think a little bit more zoomed in, I think is going to work better for Crooked Mask here. And yeah, I hate to cut off his cape, but I think it's gonna have to go. Or it's not gonna fit as nicely in the portal. So we can fade this out a bit more. think that this is looking, it's starting to look a little bit more like, more consistent with the other two cutouts. I don't know, maybe if I slightly fade out this arm, I feel like it would not be completely there. So, it's not looking bad, and I don't know, we can even try brightening him up a little bit. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe 10%. Yeah, I'll try that. We can try this and see how it looks. I'll export this into Unity. And oh yeah, I think I like this a lot better. He is more prominently there. Yeah, I kind of would like to see his like dangling mask kind of coming out though too. So maybe we can play with the artwork and make that happen. Because in the art, yeah, like these little masks down here, but it's a little too zoomed in up there. I don't know if this will work because I didn't practice this part ahead of time, but I'm just looking at it now. It seems like it would make sense to do this, so we'll see what happens. Let's cut this out and stick it in, and we'll probably fade it out quite a bit, but I like the idea of having a hint of this like hanging out of the portal because kind of cool element of his character design. And yeah, if anyone has any questions about anything I'm talking about today or talked about in previous streams, feel free to drop it in the chat. Let's see if we can make this work. So, yeah, it's a little bit high up though. I don't know. Might have to. I think that might actually not be too bad. Rotate it a little bit. So it looks like it's hanging off his belt there. And maybe turn down the opacity a little bit on it. Not that much. About 90%. And maybe I'll feather out the edges slightly. Although it's not looking too bad. I'll duplicate it and see if that makes it better or worse. Yeah, Bishop 8083 says making the mask hang out will add an interesting illusion to the whole thing, and I agree. I think it kind of neat. Oh, I need to. I don't want these bits sticking out too much on the edges here. I want it to look like it's part of the, like it's in the correct place in the drawing, or the painting, or whatever you want to call it. In the artwork. All right. I think that's probably all right. Maybe should not be opaque, or should be opaque. I think that looks kind of cool, actually. So we'll see. Let's pop this into Unity and see how it looks. Alright, it's kind of hanging a little bit low, but I wonder if I should shift it maybe a little bit to the side, because it kind of interferes with some other UI elements where it is at. So let's try doing that. Let me just double check that I remember yeah, I am recording. Cool. So I'm thinking through the portal, and it looks like, actually, that I left some pieces here from there. Okay. Let's try moving that over and see if we like the results. So maybe instead of where I had it, kind of looks like it could be hanging off this bit here, maybe. And it's partially like faded out closer to him, so maybe if it's like faded out, if it's more opaque as it comes forward. So let's try fading it out a little bit. Back there. Not a lot, but you know, just so it's consistent with the other artwork. So yeah, I think maybe that'll work. Alright, now we'll pop this in Unity, see how it looks. It's a lot of this sort of thing I do is try it out and it doesn't work. You know, have to iterate on it a few times. So I think I like that a little bit better. I might have faded out his head a little bit too much there, or the mask's head a little bit too much. So I like the placement of it, but I think I won't fade it out on that side, just back here a little. Alright. And yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. I'm wondering though if it would make sense to shift the whole thing up a little bit, because it's still pretty close to the UI elements, although you know, his hand is a nice place, you know, where it's not touching the top edge. How close is it to, yeah, it looks like I got a little bit of wiggle room in there, so you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to just duplicate this whole group of crooked mask and shift it up a little bit. Yeah. Just a little bit, and then I think he's looking pretty good after that. Yeah. All right. So that is the crooked mask now. Thank you for the nice comments in the chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think, yeah, and the other thing too, I'll mention while I'm in Unity is, you know, right now, you know, it's a separate image, and part of the reason for that is, so we have some options with, like, if we want to add more effects, additional effects to the portal behind the nemesis, or effects on the nemesis themselves, or nemesis themselves, because right now, because, you know, there's like these effects layers on top of them, and I can show you how that looks on the, yeah, unfortunately, it's not really integrated into the UI yet, because like if I press play right now, it's going to be Rageborn. But and it is packing Sprite Atlases. But I can pause it and swap in our buddy Crooked Mask. So yeah, his mask is going to get covered up a little bit. I hadn't thought about that, but you can see there's the, right now it's just like a pulsing glow that may become a little fancier down the road, or it might stay like this. I think it's working, but I may want to do something special with him, with like having masks like piling up or something. And I will. I meant to press pause, not play. And I'll do this. I'll show you how the Carapace Queen looks in context as well. And right now I have the glow just going over the middle of the image, so the arms are not being highlighted, but I think it's probably all right for the moment anyway. And there may be insects piling up around in the UI down the road or not. So those are looking pretty good, I think. So there's another nemesis that I'm going to take a look at today, and that is the Prince of Gluttons. So let me save my PSD, turn off Crooked Mask, and let's go find the Prince of Gluttons. So this is the Prince of Gluttons artwork, and I really like this artwork. I think it's interesting. And this one's going to be an interesting one coming out of the portal, because I think, well, we can we'll try some different things for this, I think. So I'll just turn off the background, and I'll just bring this whole image over into here. Make a Prince of Gluttons folder. And I called it folder, I didn't mean to do that. Alright. So, the interesting thing about this guy, or this creature, is the torso is very round, but he has these huge tentacles, like, sticking out. So I want to make sure to include his, I think probably could include all of the tentacles, and just like have his legs fading out is what I'm thinking to try. And I'm trying to see if it's fitting in the frame. I think so, and I might brighten him slightly too. And let's see. And I take a look at the comment. Ideas for the Carapace Queen and her husk tokens. We'll need something to target as she gets those husks, and I agree. So I think we'll be doing something special in the UI for the husks. Not sure exactly. We haven't completely decided yet, but there'll be something special happening. All right, so Prince of Gluttons. Let's fade out those feet because those are back inside the portal. And I want to be able to see some of it, but not, it's going to be pretty faint the further back it is in the portal. And then, let's see. think that might, yeah, it might be a little too much actually. Let's backtrack a little. So I think I took too much out of the middle of the stomach. Yeah. So. Oops. I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger and a little bit lighter. Yeah, maybe that part is just. I kind of like how this is looking. Some interesting artwork. And let's get rid of this little blob down there. Okay. So, yeah. Looks like he's about to come right out of there. Let's see how it looks in Unity. I may want to make some additional adjustments to this, but yeah, I agree. Comment in the chat that to include as many of the tentacles as possible. Yeah, look at that. That is really interesting. I think I'm thinking that yeah, because it definitely, like, this front tentacle definitely needs to be included, and it's a little bit low, so I may have to shrink him down a little bit, but I like the tentacles. I think I might even brighten up some of the ones on the right side, just so they show up better, because I think the tentacles are pretty neat. So I'm gonna make some. I think it's looking pretty good as is. I think, but I think we can make it look a little bit better. A little bit more centered in the. I want to make sure that we don't lose that bottom bit. So yeah, I think the placement there might be a little better, and I think. Let me think about how to brighten it. Oops. Let me try a little bit of an overlay, linear overlay, to make the right side a little bit brighter. So it may or may not look right, but we will try it out and see. And if it makes it worse, then we can just go back to the way it was. So let's try this as a regular overlay. So I kind of like the way that looks. You know, it does darken the other side though. And we got an update from David in the chat. He fixed the one of the bugs he was working on. So that's cool. So I think, see, I really like the way the left side tentacles are looking as is. I don't really want to affect them too much. Let's try. That's a little bit too much. Or we can just tone down the overlay, maybe is the way to go. So that's 0. We can make it 50% of an overlay, just to even out the... and I may end up, you know, putting it back the way it was, but I think I'd rather see a little bit more of the tentacles in all directions. And maybe a more gradual fade on the stomach here. maybe this back tentacle can fade a little bit, but not too much. Alright, let's pop this in Unity and see how it looks. Okay, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better about it now. Yeah, like it kind of makes, you kind of have to take a look at it and be like, whoa, there's all those tentacles. I am tempted to lighten the whole thing a little bit though. Yeah, it's the thing is, because like it's nice having like these like bright highlights on the ends of the tentacles, but I don't want the face to get lost. Let's see. I don't know if vivid light is the way to go. Maybe a regular overlay. I think vivid's a little too much. Try regular overlay and I'll try 20%. So it's not, not too big of a difference, but you know, my thought is they can be a little bit brighter because they're being illuminated by the light from the portal, right? So yeah, that's a little, yeah. Alright, so there is the Prince of Gluttons, and I can press play. We can see how he looks with the overlays glowing on him. So, yeah. Yeah, I think for the glows, it might make sense to make them specific to the nemesis. You know, like, because the relatively round glow works pretty well for Rageborn and Crooked Mask, but I think you know, do better for Prince of Gluttons and Carapace Queen. But I think, you know, it's looking pretty good. And I'll go ahead and show you, in case you missed, I always show the atlas on the streams. There's the, you know, so there's like, I think there's 5 in there because I have like the whole body of Rageborn. In the atlas, it condenses them onto one, you know, or into fewer pictures. Like, there's 2 pages of this atlas. The first page has like 3 images on it, and the second page has 2 images on it, to make it run a little more efficiently. So, that is the only stuff that I had planned to talk about, but while I was doing the stream, I kind of got the idea that it'd be cool to have some better highlights. So let's do, since, you know, Carapace Queen was the star of the earlier stream, maybe I'll go ahead and try to come up with a glow for her. So let's see, right now, with the way that the glows are set up right now, it's kind of right. It kind of is mirroring the portal. And I can show you what the glow. It's just this, you know, it's like a whitish cloud, and then it's tinted different colors. So let's see. I mean, it's a good starting place for us to work from. So right now that's 256 by 256. I'll open that up in the PSD. Let me close these ones I'm not using. So I don't get, because I'm gonna get mixed up in Photoshop. I have all these things open. So let's save this. I'm gonna make a third copy of this that includes with glows. So right now, so I'll duplicate the current glow into here, and it is roughly the size of, I think it's actually lined up exactly with the 250 with the portal image, yeah. So we can fit that in the middle. I'm trying to think the best way to do this. Alright, so that's our base one. So that's like the one, you know, it works well enough, I think, for Rageborn and Crooked Mask. Although for Crooked Mask, it might be nice to have a little bit of glow on his hands. But for today, we're going to take a look at Carapace Queen, and we're going to make this glow work better for her. So I'll keep that layer there, and then I'll add in a little bit more glow. So that's a little bit too bright. Although, actually maybe bright is better, and then I can always kind of decrease it. I want to make sure we get all the bits covered, and then I think this is going to look pretty cool when it's all figured out. I think actually I can put some glow on her. On the antennas. Maybe those are not quite as bright. And then this would have been better if I'd remembered to pull out my Wacom pen instead of a mouse, but I'll do it with a mouse for the moment. Let's go ahead and fade out. Fade it out on here. To look more like a glow instead of just a, you know, whatever. And I'll make some adjustments to this base, the base layer too, because it's a little bit bright. In parts that aren't the Carapace Queen. Yeah, I think, yeah, because the glow layer that I put in there was kind of getting things ready for the demo and moving along. I think it makes more sense to do it this way. I think it's going to be neat. So let's label this. So when I come back to this file, I know what I'm looking at. Glow. And it's not perfect, but I think it's gonna you know, be an improvement over what we have in there now. And I'm gonna have to make some changes in the UI to get it looking right. So that's the general glow, and I think, yeah, up here it doesn't look so hot. don't need to be quite so pronounced. Alright, so I'll go ahead and drop this into the folder with the Nemesis overlays. Or Nemesis cutouts, sorry. And we're going to call this Carapace Queen Glow. Alright, so we're going to have to make a few adjustments to make this work. And I'm also going to go ahead and, so that's the Carapace Queen Glow, but this is the regular glow. I'll call this basic glow. And we're going to have to save that out to be the right size to line up. Let's call it Nemesis. We'll call it default Nemesis glow, I think. You know, because it'll work in general, I think, just not for all of them. So, so before I start making too many changes, I'm going to pop Rageborn back in there to make sure that I don't break the setup that I have for Rageborn. And so both of these I'm going to replace with the default glow. And let's see, I'll do this one first. So we want them to line up with the main image exactly, which they're not right now. So I'm going to go ahead and zero, 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 zero. Alright, so that looks like it's in about the same place as the other one. It is a little bit smaller, but actually, if we stick with this idea, I'll probably make a custom glow for Rageborn too, to include his horns. So I think this will work for our purposes today. Just getting everything lined up, and so we can practice it. So I think this is, and we'll save this. This Nemesis cutout atlas is getting bigger and bigger, but that's alright. Some of the images probably don't need to be quite as big as they are. Like the glows can probably get shrunk down, but like lower resolution rather than, they have to be, yeah, so that looks about like it looked before. So that's good. And I will pop in Carapace Queen so we can test out her glows. And okay, that is certainly a start. I think it's going to need some more work to look quite right, but it's kind of cool. And I don't know, since she's not really hooked up in the UI, I don't know if it'll work if I put those, if I swap out those images, but I'll try. Because I know I can stick Carapace Queen in there, and I should be able to pop in the glow. Oh, it because it's, yeah. Those are always the same right now. So now if I, yeah, look at that. Now her, now the arms are glowing too. So I think that will work a lot better going forward. For you know, makes the each nemesis a little bit more special. And I think there's a little bit too much highlight over the eyes. So I'm gonna actually go and change that in here. So here's a Carapace Queen. Carapace Queen glow, yeah. So, which layer is doing that? Oh, is that the... Okay. Looks like it's the base one. So yeah, it's got a little bit too much by her face. Because we want that to always be visible. But that doesn't mean we can't add a little bit more around. Here. And as I did that, I realized that it made little balls that shouldn't be there. So we'll get rid of those. But make a pretty faint glow on that part. But I think it's okay. At least for now. So that is, I think I could even fade it out a little bit more. In that part. So let's try this out and see how it looks. Alright, and just a reminder, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll probably be wrapping up this dub stream pretty soon. Let's see, Carapace Queen. Yeah, it's, I think, a little bit better. We can see more of the face. Probably could use a little bit more glow along the bottom though. So I'll make that one last adjustment, and then I think call it a day. But yeah, because the portal is there. I'll add another glow layer. Well, thank you for joining me today, Takewalker, and everybody else in the chat. This was a fun stream, and actually got some ideas for improving the UI in the game. So that was neat. Maybe a little bit more up here. Yeah. Oops, that's a little bit too much. I was just thinking, like, it'd be cool to have some glow around those antennas right there. Yeah, it's kind of neat. So thank you, Citizen and Bishop 083, also for your nice comments. I enjoyed doing the stream today. I think it was a lot of fun for me and to do as well. And I think yeah, I think the Carapace Queen is going to be pretty cool in the game visually. She's gonna be neat. It's gonna be neat. This reminds me, I think my last dev stream, I feel like I was waiting a long time for every sprite atlas to get packed. So let's see, Carapace Queen. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, I like it in red. It's there's no mistaking where the nemesis is. So that is good. Yeah, I wonder what you could do with that mask guy in his hand. You know, we could probably do some cool stuff with the mask guy in his hand. Another thing that we can do too, yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, I can do a quick, so mask guy. So right now, well, we don't want the, yeah, so the default, if we put the default highlight, yeah, it doesn't really cover his hands. But one thing we could do with Crooked Mask is we could just have a glow overall, like a, you know, a close in glow on him, instead of like having it just fade out. So I'll show you what I mean. There's another, you know, there's another idea for a way we could do the glows. So we could actually just select the whole image of that, and I'll make a folder called Crooked Mask Glow, and just fill that all in. Now there's obviously some issues that arise when you do that, but let's make it 50%. We'll try, and then obviously we're gonna fade this out quite a bit. Now is that little bit down there from the glow layer? Okay. So first I'll get rid of all these little stray bits that are popping up down here. Okay. I think we can do, you know, fade out the middle, so it's just like the edges that get the most of the glow. Like his fingers, I think, could really use some nice glowing overlay. And I think probably the part of the Crooked Mask that's still backing the breach probably doesn't need to have so much of a glow on it. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but not doesn't need to be opaque. And I think his face probably, we want to make sure the face is visible. So yeah, oops, I mean, it's a little bit bright, but I think it's kind of cool. I'll try 40% maybe. And then there's also the question of, do we want the regular glow around it too? And I'm not sure. I might put a little bit of, let's see, so we have the Crooked Mask in the portal, and then we put this glow on. But I think it might be nice to have a little bit of glow around it in addition to that. So I'll add a little bit more in. And let's see. Yeah, maybe not. So it's not, you know, so it looks a little bit more, I don't know the word, less precise. More glowy and floaty. Alright, so, oops. It's worth a try, right? And, you know, this is all still work in progress, so, you know, a lot of things could still change, but I think it's worth trying out because it's kind of neat. And before I go any further, well, yeah, and then let's see how the atlas is looking. I think it's probably getting pretty full. Or getting pretty large, I should say, because we could probably for sure reduce the size of the glow images, which I'll do after I test it out. But because now it's up to 3 pages, which I think is probably a little excessive, but you know, for testing purposes, it's all right. So let's see now. How is he looking? Oh, that is not lining up quite right now, is it? That's weird. Because it's still at -10. Should be 0. Alright. So that's kind of neat. I think it probably should get faded out a little bit more in the middle. Then again, it's kind of, well, we can see how it looks in play mode. So I'll swap out Crooked Mask for Rageborn. And yeah, that is definitely different. It might be a little bit too subtle, which is crazy, but I'm thinking like maybe it needs to be more opaque along the edges and less opaque in the middle, so there's more of a contrast, but that's kind of neat. Yeah, and looking at it too, it seems like this part of Crooked Mask should probably be more faded out in the actual cutout. So I know I said 10 minutes ago I was about to stop, but I will I'll do this and then I'll still yeah, because now I'm excited. I want to make him look even better. So yeah, let's fade out. It's a little. That's really further back in the portal, I think. That's probably enough. Just to. And then yeah, that bit down there doesn't need to be there. Okay, so let's try that. And then as far as Crooked Mask's glow, yeah, I'm going to duplicate the whole thing so I don't mess it up. So this extra layer of like smoke, I guess is what that is. This layer I'll bump it up to 60% and then I'll cut out a little bit more of it. I think that's going to be pretty neat. The fingers will be... It's mostly just to emphasize his giant claws. And, yeah, let's see how this is looking now. Oops. Forgot about that. Yeah. There's a bit of... Doesn't need to be quite so pronounced. Yeah, I think that'll work well enough for today. We're gonna mask glow. Yeah, and so right now, these are all 2048 by 1024, which I think, or no, 1024 by 512. They're 2048 by 1024, and then I shrunk them down in Unity, which I did for the other cutouts, but not for the new cutouts. So I'll go ahead and do that for the new cutouts to make those atlases a little bit more efficient. And I think the glows can probably be shrunk down even more because they're never at like 100% and they're pretty fuzzy. But for now, I'll just make them the same size. And so that should reduce the number of pages in the atlas, I suspect. So let's see. Or at least make more room in them for future nemesis, and because I'm still going to need a Prince of Gluttons glow layer. So yeah, look at that. They all fit on one page now. They cut down to 3 pages to 1 page, so that's kind of neat. And let's see how he's looking. Yeah, I think that's working pretty well. So I'll try it in play mode one more time. And of course, alright, and there is Crooked Mask glowing. I think it works pretty well in red too. And we can also, you know, down the road I may change the colors that it glows, but I think it's kind of cool. So yeah. Alright, well, that I think is about it for today. I'll take one last look at the Kickstarter in case you missed the beginning of the stream. It looks like it is at $27,304 with 6 days to go, so we're more than 90% funded. And yeah, so thank you for joining me today, and have a great day.